So no joke, 3 days ago I got on Honda Revolt and I ordered new rear shocks, the Gaz Shocks, and the upgraded springs for my 2000 Honda Insight 5-speed. And it's here already. I'm shocked how quick they got here. Let's see what all we got. So it comes packaged. You have the spring, and then on the inside, I guess there's a shock there. So the bracket is spun in here. Let's just spin these out. See if we can't get these. Yeah. Ooh. So these are not gas charged. They're just, oh gosh, a lot of resistance. That is so great. Oh man. Seriously, I already tried to do the Monroe shock, you know, replacement, where you put a piece of pipe through the top of the shock and you smash it. That's what's currently on my car. And when I bought new Monroe shocks, they were worse. The new ones were worse than the old ones on the car. So the quality control of Monroe has gone to total garbage. But yeah, this amount of resistance, that is going to stop me from bottoming out. I am pretty sure. But damn. New shock smell. That is so exciting. Oh, this is so nice. And now the second one, wrapped in plastic, I guess to protect the springs from getting all banged up and losing all their paint. Everything came in great condition. They did a good job packing and incredibly fast shipping. Neat. Okay, I'm going to attempt to give us a before and after demonstration of these shocks. There's one particular stretch of road which always bottom out on at 30 miles an hour. It's just a little imperfection in the pavement, but it really gets you like bum 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 bum. So to optimize the bounciness, I'm going to have a full tank of gas, and then I'm also going to have a very moderate payload of 12-volt air compressor, jumper cables, and my grid charger, plus my daughter's backpack. It's probably also worth to mention that I am 6'3" and 260 pounds. Alright, so the car's on jack stands and we're underneath. I guess the only thing we need is a 14, top shock, bottom shock, and bump stop. So I did watch the video by Scott, Killer 3 cylinder, and so I'm just gonna, I guess, make a bad version of his video real quick. So let's go ahead and take off this bump stop. See, yeah, not too tight. Huh. The thing to note about the bump stop is it has a little bump here, and so it only goes in one way. Oh my God, we can just take the springs off just like this. Okay, so that's the spring. That's pretty easy. He recommends lifting this up a bit, make it a little bit easier, so there's less tension on the shock. I'll probably need to do that for putting in the new shocks, because these are just like totally worn out and trashed. So let's take this out. We got a shock more or less loose. Let's see. You can do it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so just a quick little visual inspection. The new springs are, markedly thicker, and the adjustable Gaz shocks, I guess, are the right length, because these Monroe shocks have always been a compromise, and they're just a little bit long, I guess, fully extended. But let's do a little bouncing on them, see what happens. This one, I'm just going to set my weight on it, okay? Now this one, so I think they said they keep these at 13 clicks. So before I go any further, let's just count 1, 2, 13, and that's it. So 13 is what they say they want it. All the way down, what do these do? Very easy. Why it's easy, let's open it up. Let's see what the max is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 18, 19, 20. I think 20 is max. What's that do? Quite a bit of resistance. So let's go back to the 13 that they recommend. Whoa. 15, 14, 13. So that's the shock. So now the spring, let's do stock spring. Okay. Yeah, definitely holds more weight. One thing that I totally forgot to look up, I guess I could look it up, but is if these need the insulators to prevent the galvanic corrosion or not. You know, I have these little bits of plastic here from use on that. I could just stick them in there and not worry about it, I guess. I've got a magnet here. Let's just, yeah, so they're steel, so I guess we'll go back with this little protection. And while we're sitting here, so the top is the tighter coil, the bottom is the wider coil. So the top, we take this little guy and it just plugs in just like that. Not much to it. And then the bottom has these two pieces of plastic. We stick these on these fatter coils. There's two. So that spring's ready to go in. Alright, so with the spring out, I'm going to go ahead and start this shock in there. That'll be just easier to get the wrenches on it. We got the little plastic. Alright, so I got the shock mounted on the top side, loose on the bottom. I just wanted to show you this bump stop. Up here where it impacts, there's like a hole here for, I guess, for draining stuff or whatever. But see the damage to the bump stop? How there's a little, it matches. So this thing hits real hard and gets deformed pretty hard. So we've been bottoming out real good for quite some time. Yeah, we're kind of staring at the muffler here. Sorry, I'm just having trouble getting a camera angle under this because we're so short. So let's we'll put this on top, then we'll hold this inside the spring, and then we'll just push this up here, and then there's a little low area right here where the bottom coil is gonna sit on. Oops. I guess we can just twist it on that rubber. I don't know if it matters if what happens up top. Oh gosh, all my little plastic is getting out of whack. Let me start over. Okay, so I'm just gonna sort of pre-line it up like that. And then shove it in there. So I guess that's that. Maybe once there's a little more tension on it, we could do some fine control, but it looks like that bottom spring will be right lined up with there once there's some compression on it. So I guess we just put in this, we make sure the little nub on this bump stop registered where it needs to go. Then we'll put this back on, 14 millimeter nut. So I think that's that. I'm going to take this zip tie off the bottom of the shock here. And I'm going to lift this with the jack. Oop, lost a little thing. I don't know what you can see because the camera's just at a bad angle, but with the jack I'm going to raise this up. And then what fell off of the shock is this little spacer. That's what those zip ties were. Well, not zip ties, those like trash bag twist ties were holding on. So I'm just gonna push this down. Let me get tall enough and then I'll shove it in place. Uh-oh, the neighbor's kid is screaming bloody murder. Let's see. Is that not quite tall enough yet? Pull that out and go up just a bit more. Now that's looking pretty good. And I wonder if I should get a rubber mallet, tap this in. Well, that's not quite as easy as it looks on the TV. So I got a little dead blow. I'm gonna be careful, I don't want to hit the valve there, right? If I can just coax this in a bit. There it is. Are we lined up on the back? Not quite. Oop, don't want to mess the threads up though. Have I messed anything up yet? No, I haven't hit hard enough to mess it up. Alright, hope you can see this. So I got it in there. What I did was I just had a socket with an extension and I was hammering it while I twist, right? And then I got it to start. But that's tire tolerance, then, you know, I guess for the first time it's going to be hard, but that was this little something you can expect, alright? Nice and tight. Love it. It feels taller. It recovers after one bounce. It still doesn't take much to do it. I think my front shock's worn out too. They're bouncing more than the back. The back is more responsive than the front now. That's nice. But anyways, these Gaz shocks are shorter than the Monroe shock, and so we've limited the range of motion compared to the wrong shocks on the car, right? A little bit, but then we've raised the height a bit too. So we ride taller with less range of motion. We probably have the same range of motion. It's just it's in a different location now. The front aren't super bad, but they could probably use a little assistance in the not too distant future. So I don't know, first impressions is it doesn't bottom out and it handles really good. It feels a little bit springy, you know, but whatever. It's a big improvement. It's not like a pogo stick, but it's like you can tell there might be just a teeny bit more spring than what the car needs. You know, so probably ideally would be like the factory where you have a pressurized shock that gives you enough pressure. It's lifted slightly. You know, it lifts the car slightly, and that's probably a better combination for smoothness. But this is great. You know, I'm happy. So that's good. You know, it's light cars are not the easiest thing to make ride real nice. You know, there's something about dampening a bunch of weight moving and having a lot of spring and a whole hell of a lot of shock and riding really nice, and that's a hard thing to replicate in a light car. So whatever, I love it. You know, I'm just glad to finally have that under my belt. I was really burned out by the Monroe shocks that I had bought being worse, softer, less pressure, brand new than these old ones. You know,
and I don't want to spend $500 on shocks from Honda. So shocks and springs for $370, sure. I'm gonna have to get back in here and adjust the spring on this side because it's making some noise. I was looking at it and I missed the little like pocket that the bottom of the coil spring sits into by just a little bit. It's up on the slope instead of down in the pocket by just a tiny amount. When I stick my finger down in here and I feel where the end of the coil is, it's not down here in the flat part. It's like right here, slightly on the slope. And so you might have been able to hear it during the road test, but it sort of makes like a deep creaking noise, like something like that. So I'm going to take this back off and just drop it down in there to delete that noise. All right, so this is the new placement I'm going for. There's just no chance of it working its way up that slope again. I'm one finger width away from that coil to that slope, and whatever. I just want to make sure I don't have to do it again because it's not a lot of work, but repeating yourself sucks. Okay, so that didn't help the noise, so I don't think I had suspension noise after all. It only happens, it's not from hitting bumps and springing like this, it's over going rough pavement. So this side is really well secured, right? It's sitting tight. But this side over here, it's got a lot of play in it. See that? So I think the rattle is actually coming from the hatchback. This side is holding all the pressure. This side has nowhere. So yeah, I think the hatch is crooked. So if I was going to do a conclusion, I believe these shocks will wear in a bit, and the springs will wear in a bit, and the ride will change over time. It does feel a little bit springy, but it is such a big improvement. I think in the hierarchy of options, factory $500 rear shocks, I've never ridden them, so I don't have anything to say about those, but that's an option. There's also the economy option of the Monroe shocks. I think the only way Monroe shocks would give you any benefit, and I don't think they have any ability to stop it from bumping out, bottoming out, would be if you're in like a really bad way where the rear end, you hit a bump and it just goes and goes and goes and doesn't stop. A Monroe shock will buffer that, and you can bottom out a couple times instead of a dozen times, right? And so this option, the Gaz shocks and the upgraded springs, I mean, I think it's great, and I'm glad I did it. It's a little pricey, but it's way less pricey than factory, and it probably I just don't know, but it sounds like what I've read that a lot of people were bottoming out on factory shocks. It doesn't take very long for them to wear out to the point you start bottoming out in bumps. So if you don't want to bottom out, you don't mind a little bit of extra height in the back, it's excellent. So I guess that's my conclusion. So until next time, I'll catch y'all later. If you got something out of this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Helps with the algorithm. And I pay attention to my comments, so if you got any questions, I'll get back to them eventually. Just leave them down below. Y'all be good. Catch you next time.